What's up, everybody? Welcome back to A People's Historian, the show where we read about half an hour of history together. My name is Jason Kishinev, and we are going to finish Defining Moments in Black History by Dick Gregory today. We just have the epilogue to go. It's just a few pages. But remember, if you enjoyed the episode, hit that like and subscribe button for me. Let's just get started. Epilogue. Last thoughts. And the blurb at the beginning says, "Black people at our best. Fierce when we have to be. Creating beauty when we have a chance." On white supremacy. The whole game that's being played on us black folks is really about white supremacy. Even most white folks don't understand white supremacy. When I was a little boy, black folks tried to get me scared of racist, redneck, N-word hating old crackers, snuff dipping, can't read, can't write folks. Now when I was 9 years old, I said to my brother, "Since when do those types of folks run things?" Our problem has never been a man who can't read or write and is full of hate. Our problem has been the president of Harvard, Yale, MIT, and General Motors. It has been executives at pharmaceutical companies who put out all kinds of bad medicine and don't go to jail when they get caught, who have to pay but don't have to admit they did anything wrong. White supremacy works. The world is overwhelmingly non-white, but whites control the whole world. That's why when even white folks see unidentified flying objects, people with white supremacy behind them will say, "Shut up, you didn't see anything." Because once you admit that there's somebody in the universe other than you, white supremacy goes out the window, doesn't it? Organized religion as we know it goes out the window, doesn't it? My grandmother doesn't have space in her head to believe there could be a Baptist on Mars. Worst of all, in the view of white supremacists, no biting. Worst of all, in the view of white supremacists, if we start to think we're not alone in the universe, then white supremacy doesn't mean a thing, because we would all become earthlings. There wouldn't be a Memphis or a Chicago. No biting. Crazy cat. There wouldn't be a Memphis or a Chicago or an America or a Russia or a China or an Africa. We would be Earth people. This is what this thing is about. When you stop and think about all the trickery that goes into maintaining white supremacy, it blows your mind. People say, "Why are black folks so violent?" Here's one answer: malt liquor. Did you know that you can't buy malt liquor in a white neighborhood? Go to a white neighborhood and try to buy it. See if you can find any. Why are white beer companies making beer for black folks that they're not selling to white folks? Because they put a thing in it called manganese. Once you get enough manganese, you'll kill your mama. Come on. Now the body needs manganese, but once you get too much, watch out. Then there's pollution. Here's something from the New York Daily News. From Thursday, May 29th, 1997. Crime linked to pollution. Polluted water can cause brain damage that turns ordinary people into violent criminals. Now do you see why people with money buy bottled water? The researcher was Roger Masters of Dartmouth College, a brilliant scientist. He compared crime figures from the FBI with information on industrial discharges. In other words, pollution. First of all, nobody tells you that the FBI is keeping statistics on homicides caused by pollution. There's a relationship between lead exposure and homicide, yet they've got black folks reduced to such nothings that we believe the crime situation is our fault. Masters studied industrial discharges of lead and manganese and found a link between pollution levels and murder, assault, and robbery. Counties with the highest pollution levels have a crime rate that's triple the nation's average. Yet they make us believe that crime is a black thing. Anytime you accept injustice, you become unjust. Anytime you peacefully coexist with filth, you become filthy. And when that happens, you start doing this stuff to yourself. Think about people in Jamaica. They're super black over there. Do you know a huge killer of young folks in Jamaica even as you're reading this? Do you? I'm not talking about crack cocaine or drive-by shootings or automobile accidents. I'm talking about bleaching cream. A huge killer of women in China is bleaching cream. That's what Hollywood movies do with white supremacy. She's got to look white. Did you know that in New Orleans they still have brown bag parties? What's that, you ask? You and I go to a party, and when we get to the door, there's a brown bag hanging down from the ceiling. And if our skin is darker than that brown bag, we can't go in. Here's a finding that came out of UCLA. African Americans and Caucasians have similar emotional brain activity when seeing African Americans, psychiatrists find. These are scientific data. This isn't pimp talk. What they do is take 100 white folks and for 6 weeks run them through a program figuring out which people they like and which ones they don't like. Not which races, but which people. When they're done with that, they perform brain scans on the 100 people and their brain activity shows up on a big TV screen. Then they flash pictures of the people the participants said they liked, their mothers, and other people close to them. And the researchers can see on the screen the brain movements that correspond to happiness. Then they show the subjects a picture of a black man. Well, 64% of white folks damn near jump through their skulls when they see it. The white folks weren't even aware of having that reaction. Now they do the same experiment with 100 black folks. When they showed them a black man, 63% of them had the same reaction. That's why they concluded that blacks and whites have similar emotional brain activity when seeing African Americans. This is a scientific finding, but we think we can peacefully coexist with filth and it doesn't affect us. This is what white supremacy has done to us. Now, how do we start undoing that? Thanks for joining me. That is the end of the book. I realize it's short, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the universe at work, Mr. Gregory would say. I do hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like and subscribe button, and tune into the next book. Thanks for joining me.